And Yemen is under intense attack. At least 80 people have died in the overnight aerial attacks by the United States.
New at 10, Houthi rebels in Yemen say the United States military conducted new airstrikes on multiple sites late tonight.
Iran has to get rid of the concept of a nuclear weapon. They cannot have a nuclear weapon.
The airstrikes between the Houthis and US continues, further making these Houthi officials unreachable even to their closest allies.
I met with a different group of people in Iran, and we'll be making a decision on Iran very quickly.
The US is targeting the Houthis because of the group's attacks on shipping in the Red Sea, which is a crucial global trade route.
The United States sanctioned the International Bank of Yemen for its financial support of the Houthis.
We agree that Iran will not have nuclear weapons. This can be done in an agreement, but only if this agreement is a Libya-style agreement.
And if we have to do something very harsh, we'll do it.
Does that include a potential strike on Iranian nuclear facilities?
Of course it does.
The first B-2 Spirit stealth bomber appeared over Yemen's coastline without warning. Within minutes, precision strikes obliterated the Ras Isa fuel port, a facility that generated millions in revenue for Houthi rebels and served as Iran's supply link. US officials called it a necessary target. The Houthis called it an act of war. This airstrike marked the beginning of a strategic campaign that has now expanded to over 230 air operations against Iranian-backed forces. As tensions escalate, our analysis of exclusive satellite imagery and deployment data reveals Yemen may be the opening battlefield in a broader confrontation, with Iran's advancing nuclear program looming as Washington's ultimate concern.
U.S. military footprint: 40,000 troops and strategic assets.
The Pentagon's massive military deployment across the Middle East represents far more than a routine show of force. With over 40,000 troops positioned strategically throughout the region, this concentration of American firepower raises profound questions about Washington's true strategic calculations. While officially framed as a response to Houthi aggression in Yemen, the scale and sophistication of these deployments suggest a much broader strategic agenda at play. The backbone of this military buildup consists of the USS Harry S. Truman and USS Carl Vinson carrier strike groups, now maintaining a formidable presence in the Red Sea and Arabian Sea. These floating air fortresses provide unparalleled power projection capabilities, allowing for sustained aerial operations across multiple theaters simultaneously. With their complement of FA-18 Super Hornets and escort destroyers equipped with advanced radar and missile systems, these carrier groups establish America's dominant maritime presence in the region. Complementing this naval power, the deployment of B-2 Spirit stealth bombers to Diego Garcia marks a significant escalation in America's strategic posture. These advanced aircraft can penetrate sophisticated air defense networks undetected and deliver bunker-penetrating munitions against hardened facilities, capabilities far exceeding what operations against Yemen's Houthi forces would require. Operating from the joint Anglo-American base, these bombers extend America's strategic reach throughout the broader region. This offensive capability is reinforced by an integrated network of air defense systems positioned throughout Allied territories. Combining Patriot missile batteries with THAAD systems creates a protective umbrella spanning multiple countries, a defensive network considerably more robust than what Houthi threats alone would justify. Satellite imagery reveals systematic expansion of American military facilities across Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain. New runways for heavy bombers, expanded munitions storage, and hardened command centers indicate preparations for sustained high-intensity operations beyond the scope of containing Houthi forces. Internal Pentagon documents indicate this military surge accelerated following specific intelligence assessments regarding Iranian nuclear activities. Within weeks of receiving updated intelligence on Tehran's uranium enrichment progress, the Pentagon initiated this massive force deployment. The buildup has reached a scale unprecedented since the 2003 Iraq invasion. One classified assessment describes it as a force posture designed for full-spectrum dominance across multiple contingencies, language that notably contrasts with the limited public justification of protecting shipping lanes. The same report acknowledges that current force levels exceed operational requirements for counter-Houthi operations by a factor of 3, revealing broader strategic objectives. The ongoing air campaign further illuminates these objectives. With over 230 strikes targeting infrastructure from ports and airports to underground bunkers and missile launch pads, operations have systematically degraded Houthi capabilities, while signaling a comprehensive approach to regional security challenges.
Economic warfare, the strategic targeting of Houthi revenue streams.
Among the 230 strikes against Houthi targets, the destruction of the Ras Isa port stands as a watershed moment in America's evolving strategy. This wasn't merely another military target. It represented the first American strike on a Houthi-controlled oil facility since the bombing campaign began, deliberately severing the financial artery that had transformed a rebel movement into a formidable regional force. Ras Isa functioned as the economic backbone of Houthi operations, a critical dam holding back what would otherwise be a drought of insurgent funding. Intelligence assessments revealed this single port facility generated approximately $80 million monthly, enabling the group to maintain its military apparatus and governance structures, while facilitating Iranian support networks. Through this maritime hub flowed the weapons, technology, and expertise that empowered their regional operations. Satellite imagery comparisons tell a stark story of transformation. Where once stood a fully operational port with active oil storage facilities and functioning loading mechanisms, now lies a devastated landscape of twisted metal and inoperable infrastructure. The strategic precision of these strikes left nothing salvageable, a calculated decision targeting the very economic foundations sustaining the movement. The financial repercussions have proven catastrophic for Houthi leadership. Intercepted communications between commanders reveal their growing desperation. "We cannot maintain our positions without fuel and funds," lamented one senior commander. "The fighters ask for their pay, and I have nothing to give them." This sudden financial drought has forced difficult organizational decisions, creating tension as commanders compete for dwindling resources. These economic constraints have triggered cascading operational effects. Naval attacks in the Red Sea have decreased significantly as the group struggles to maintain expensive maritime operations. Their diminishing grip on key Yemeni provinces has become apparent, as territorial control requires consistent resource allocation for security operations and services that legitimize their governance claims.
Financial intelligence tracking has documented the collapse of Houthi currency reserves, directly impacting their ability to pay fighter salaries. Reports indicate increasing desertion rates as paydays become irregular. The psychological impact is profound. Fighters who once received reliable compensation now face uncertain futures for themselves and their families.
U.S. military planning documents reveal this economic targeting strategy extends beyond Ras Isa, creating a blueprint to systematically isolate Houthis from remaining revenue streams. This approach targets economic sustainability rather than merely military capabilities. The Houthis now face an impossible strategic equation. Each attempted attack requires resources they can no longer access, while maintaining territorial control demands capital that continues to evaporate. This resource imbalance has fundamentally altered their operational calculus, forcing a defensive posture rather than the offensive operations that previously defined their regional presence. By destroying Ras Isa port, American strategists have created internal fractures within Houthi leadership, eroded fighter morale through financial instability, and significantly degraded their ability to project power beyond their immediate territorial holdings.
International naval cooperation, French intervention and coalition dynamics.
The French Aquitaine-class frigate's destruction of an Iranian-made drone marks a watershed moment in the evolving international response to the Yemen conflict. As Defense Minister Sébastien Leroux confirmed, the warship's decisive action using its 76mm Automalara main gun represented a fundamental departure from France's traditionally cautious Middle East policy. This unprecedented direct engagement against Houthi forces signals Paris's willingness to assume a more assertive role in regional security dynamics beyond diplomatic statements and limited support operations. Amid escalating tensions in the Red Sea, where Iranian proxies have targeted commercial shipping with increasing boldness, France's naval doctrine has pivoted from its historical emphasis on limited engagement. Rather than maintaining its focus primarily on intelligence gathering and freedom of navigation, France has embraced active military intervention against Iranian proxies. This strategic shift reveals profound changes in European security calculations. NATO's internal debates about collective security responsibilities have intensified, with French military planners advocating for expanded alliance operations beyond traditional European boundaries.
The operational coordination preceding this intervention proved particularly significant. Communications between American and French naval commands established integrated defense protocols once exclusive to NATO North Atlantic operations. These enhanced communication channels enable real-time intelligence sharing, joint threat assessment, and coordinated response options, capabilities previously unavailable between Western navies in the Red Sea. This system's integration demonstrates military cooperation that transcends traditional alliance boundaries and creates new operational possibilities for containing Iranian influence.
The French frigate, standing as a vigilant sentinel against growing regional threats, exposed critical vulnerabilities in Iranian weapons systems during the interception. This technical revelation has accelerated technology sharing among Western navies, specifically targeting Iranian drone capabilities. Naval engineers from various allies now collaborate to develop integrated electronic warfare packages designed to disrupt the guidance systems of Iranian-manufactured unmanned aerial vehicles. This successful interception has catalyzed rapid expansion of naval cooperation between traditionally separated powers, including unofficial coordination between Israeli naval assets, Saudi maritime forces, and European naval presence. This emerging coalition has created an informal maritime security architecture, maintaining effective operational coherence through shared intelligence platforms. Intelligence reports indicate this naval coalition represents the first practical implementation of a broader regional security framework designed to contain Iranian influence. Unlike previous coalition efforts focused on counterterrorism or anti-piracy operations, this emerging maritime alliance explicitly addresses Iranian proxy threats across multiple theaters. European powers, led by France, are increasingly undertaking independent military action against Iranian-backed forces without waiting for Washington's approval. The French Navy's direct engagement with Iranian-made weaponry establishes a precedent for coordinated military action, extending beyond traditional US-led security frameworks. European powers are signaling their determination to maintain critical maritime trade routes, regardless of American strategic priorities. This assertion of independent European security interests creates a more complex strategic environment for Iranian military planners. As the dust settles on Yemen's battlefields, a larger strategic picture comes into focus. Behind the meticulously orchestrated military operations lies the specter of Iran's nuclear ambitions, the true catalyst for this unprecedented mobilization. The nuclear negotiations between Washington and Tehran have reached a critical juncture, with Trump making it clear that Iran will never join the nuclear club. This confrontation represents the culmination of economic sanctions and military posturing discussed earlier. Iran demands guarantees against American withdrawal from any agreement, while US strategists debate whether this show of force will deter or provoke. The question remains, what comes next in this high-stakes geopolitical chess match where regional stability hangs in the balance?